How many people know this, but one of the most famous actresses in history helped invent Wi-Fi, and the story just gets way more fascinating from there. Hedi Lamarr was an Austrian actress from what was at the time known as Czechoslovakia, but in the late 1930s, she moved to the United States and was discovered by MGM Studios, who decided to make her one of the world's most famous actresses. Her original name was Hedwig Kiesler, but she was rebranded as Hedi Lamarr, the world's most beautiful woman, and cast in several massively successful films throughout the 1940s. But what many people don't know is that Lamarr was also a self-taught amateur engineer with a huge interest in applied sciences who developed a technology that ended up becoming Wi-Fi. In the 1930s, she befriended an avant-garde composer named George Antheil, and they developed a technology together that could synchronize multiple player pianos together to be controlled by the same roll using radio frequencies, so that an entire room of pianos could be playing the same song at once. But then in 1940, after the outbreak of World War II, they had a very interesting idea. They could use this frequency piano technology to help the Allies win the war. See, at the time, submarine torpedoes were guided by radio frequencies, and the massive flaw with this is that the enemy could easily jam the frequency and send the torpedoes off course to miss their mark. But Hedi Lamarr and George Antheil realized that they could use this synchronizing player piano technology to create a new system where the radio frequencies between the submarine and the torpedo would rapidly switch between 28 different radio frequencies, and it would be nearly impossible to jam the signal. Lamarr and Antheil patented this frequency hopping radio guidance system in 1942, just as the United States was getting into the war, and donated the patent to the US Navy. However, they took a look at it and decided that it was too complicated, and then they just didn't use it. It sat on a shelf for years. But then in the 1950s, they took a second look at it and decided that it might actually be useful. It was first used in 1962 for the Cuban Missile Crisis communication system. In the years after, this frequency hopping spread spectrum developed and patented by Lamarr and Antheil was mass adopted throughout most secure communication and guidance systems. And in the 1980s and 1990s, it was used to develop Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth technologies, which use the spread spectrum for interference resistance and signal stability. However, due to the long and complicated development of these technologies, as well as the donation of the patent, for years Lamarr was never given any kind of credit or recognition for her contribution to these technologies that basically are integral to our society today. But in 2014, she was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. So as you finish watching this video and scroll to the next one as you wait for your DoorDash order to arrive, take a moment to stop and thank the mother of Wi-Fi, Hedi Lamarr. And real quick, if you like my videos and you want to see more in-depth writing from me, you can do that here.